I know that Old Time Pottery is not a familiar store to a lot of you, and it's going to be even less so going forward, as evidenced by all of these total liquidation signs and all sales are final. It looks like they have been bought by a company called Gabe's, and I think they're going to be rebranding to that soon, but that gives us the opportunity to get some Halloween decor at a good price. So everything in the store is on sale. I think most of the Halloween stuff is about 10% off. I did see some 20% off merchandise, but it could be up to 50%. I didn't look at the price on every single item, but they do have some good stuff this year. I really like the cemetery gateway, and of course they have one of those 10-foot, I think it's 10, might have been 12-foot skeleton men, and I think we see those everywhere now. But if you want to get them 10% off, head on down to your probably not local Old Time Pottery store, where you're going to get them for $225. There are a number of inflatables as well. That giant Jack Skellington, look, $90 after discount. I actually have that little ghost holding the pumpkin pail. In fact, a lot of these inflatables look pretty familiar. I think they are standard throughout a number of stores. It looks like it's a general air-blown inflatables. That little cat on the end, look at him. He's only $17.99. Actually, I think I have that. I do have that as well. I remember buying that tree with the pumpkins probably 10 years ago at a Walgreens. So I'm really surprised to see that same design back again today, and not a bad price. All right, I love the unwelcome sign. I built one of those for my own display several years ago in the shape of a coffin. You can't go wrong with an unwelcome sign. I do like the silhouettes of the zombies, but I would use that as a template to make them much bigger, because I hate those less than life-size props. Look at this coffin-shaped countdown timer. Love that little skull that moves around on the numbers. That was pretty cool. And then of course we have these figures that can hang and look generally creepy. We've got, looks like a pumpkin, some sort of doll, and a skeleton. Again, nothing too mind-blowingly creative. In fact, I'm starting to feel like everything in this store is just a bit too generic. I mean, have you seen anything yet that was really unique or outstanding? I'm not really sure. We can get some skeletons, though, for cheap. But then again, are they? This is starting to make me wonder about these sales, because it was originally $40, on sale $36. Not really sure $36 is much of a sale price for that. That kind of seems almost more of a standard price for those cheap 5-foot posable skeletons. Anyway, oh, I do like this little guy. He looks very reminiscent of stuff like, I feel like I've seen them at like Big Lots maybe. And then of course, if you're ever going to buy anything velvet, at least get it on sale. That's all I'm going to say. You know how I feel about those things. Looks like we've got another less than life-size skeleton, and even less so down there, I think, if those were a little bit smaller. Got some hanging ghosts. I think a lot of these were supposed to light up, and I'm sure those wiggled around or something, but a lot of the try me buttons were not working on any of these props, so I apologize for that. We're just going to have to look at them, which honestly, for the most part in our displays, at least mine anyway, most of the season they're not going to be moving or doing anything anyway, so you need to make sure that the props that you buy just look good, chilling out there by themselves. All right, what have we got on this shelf? So we've got some witch decor now. I guess that W, is that supposed to stand for witch? No, there was a D, I think, there too. I know they, oh look, we have our first ghost holding a boo banner. We got to start keeping a running tally on how many of those that we see. Got some garland, interesting different designs, lots of oranges and blacks, kind of vintagey looking. There's more of those initial products. Oh my god, I love these. Look at the faces on these pumpkins. So they are tin, looks like they're about $9 each. They would look great sticking out of my yard somewhere like a little evil pumpkin patch. I might actually have to go back and get those. I didn't get away from this store empty-handed today. Although like I said, most of the stuff is generic. It's not anything I really wanted, but there were a few things that kind of caught my eye and made me contemplate if I really wanted to take them home or not. One of which won out, and I'll show you that a little bit later. It's not that exciting, but I need something to talk about as we look through the endless amount of signs. Any sort of phrase thrown on a wood block In fact, I'm not sure that you really need to buy that. Some of these are nice, I guess. It's got a little skeleton holding the coffin. That one was creative. But for the most part, these things are just sayings on wood blocks. And we don't need to pay, what, $10 each for those? Hopefully it's a little bit less. All we need to do is find a cool phrase like that, or a template even that we can write our own phrase on for free online, and then just Mod Podge it on a piece of painted wood block. Then we can have them all over our house in every single room. All right, I like this two-toned bad. That one is actually kind of good looking and well designed. I'm kind of impressed, considering much of this has very little design at all. Look how creative. An orange frame with a black insert and some letters. Not even a design or anything to make it just a little bit more appealing. All right, we've got a few more shelves of these to go through. I promise we're almost done. That one had some candy corn. That was kind of neat. Hocus pocus, I need wine to focus. Oh, well, gosh, at least it's not we're here for the booze. I'm sure there was one. I must have just glossed right over it, though. A lot of colorful merchandise. Those witches' hats in particular. And then, I don't know what these things are. Are they like candy bowls? But, you know, the pastel colors, not my thing. At least there's not a whole lot of pastel in the merchandise today, and that I think might be part of the problem. It's such a hodgepodge. I did like that little cat pillow. There's such a hodgepodge of merchandise that none of it feels cohesive. It feels like you should buy a piece or maybe another piece. I actually kind of like those witches' potions too, and I did contemplate those, not these, the ones we just saw. And but like I was saying, you'd only buy like one piece and put it somewhere that might happen to fit your display. It's not like you'd want to buy all of these pieces because they coordinate and could go well in a cohesive display. I do like the poison pitcher. I wonder if that's actually safe to put liquids in or if it's just decorative. You could actually put some floral stuff in it, I guess, and make it a nice floral arrangement too. But I guess that defeats the purpose of having a poison pitcher. And speaking of floral, so I'm sure they had some like fake flowers somewhere in the store. Honestly, I didn't do the whole loop around the entire store. I hit the main Halloween and fall items. I do remember in last year's walkthrough, I think they had shirts and clothing as well, so we're not going to see that on this trip. I don't think you're missing a whole lot. Look, we have some light up eyes to put in like bushes. I just did a video on light up eyes talking about how I've always had that sort of thing in my display, and I really love them. We do have a whole selection of floor mats, and I will admit I do think their designs are pretty good on this, especially the Happy Halloween. I didn't even notice I had the little ravens and a spider web. That would go perfect in my display this year. I already bought a floor mat, but I might have to go back and get that one too because I like it a little bit better. I wonder if I can return the other one. I think I bought one. It was just a spider web, but it was cut out in the shape of a spider web, and I really liked it. Maybe I'll hold on to it and find a second. I mean, I guess I could put it at the back door. I don't know. We'll see. So here we are still looking at floor mats. I do like this big spider. I will be putting a lot of spiders in my display this year. So if you've been following along on my videos, I always like to throw in little tidbits of what I'm doing for my Halloween displays. So if this is your first time watching one of my walkthroughs, welcome. I do different displays in my inside and outside every year. I mean, it's not completely different, but I try not to do any of the same things at least consecutive years. At least I do my best. This year inside, I'm going to be doing a witch theme. I have several witch animatronics already that I'm going to be putting around, but I bought one from Home Depot this year that was a marionette animatronic, and one of her phrases was something like, she's trying to find the spell to turn herself back into a human or something like that. So that's going to be the theme in my living room, except her spell has gone wrong and it has conjured up a bunch of spiders. So it's going to have my witches, but spiders as well. They're just going to be crawling around all of the room everywhere. Everybody's scared of spiders. Not me though. I love them. They eat the nasty bugs around the house. So actually though, now that I'm saying that, I don't know if you guys know what the Joro spiders are, but they're humongous, and I had one appear in my Halloween display a couple of years ago. I mean, it was like high up in between a couple of trees, right where I had my party area, and I loved it because people would look up there and see this giant spider and think, wow, that's pretty cool in your Halloween display. Then that was like 2 years ago. And then last year there were several more. Well, now they are everywhere in my yard. It's horrendous. It's scary. And right above my front door, there's a giant web with at least like a dozen of these giant spiders. That kind of creeps me out. I'm not sure though. I want to move them, but I also kind of want to leave them because it is fantastic Halloween theming. So I don't know. Do you have to deal with those spiders? Because I think they're just going to be so invasive, and in a few years, I don't know what it's going to be like. They're just going to be everywhere. That does kind of scare me. Long story short. Not too late. Anyway, these things actually light up, so I'm kind of surprised by that. We can press a few buttons here and watch the glitter float around. Again, it's not anything groundbreaking, nothing we haven't seen before. We've got some bets. I do like these. Okay, the pumpkins with the little ghost sheets over them, that was kind of cute. Got a couple of different mugs. Not sure I would actually drink out of any of these, but I do collect them when I see them at like the Goodwill store. I'll use them for like pencil holders and whatnot. They do have some interesting glassware. And here is actually where I bought my first item, which I think we'll see in just a moment. It's not a Stanley mug, nor is it any of the sheets because, you know, glasses and sheets go together. But look, there is a skull decanter. In my video, just like a couple videos ago, when we were looking through Pottery Barn in Williams-Sonoma, I was commenting that you never really see cheap Halloween decanters anywhere. I mean, the ones at Pottery Barn and Williams-Sonoma were like $125 or so. They look nice, don't get me wrong, but so does this one, which was, after the discount, $11, and it came with 2 skull glasses. So I look forward to using that in my display this year, because I can't not use my Marie the Meddling Maid or Dean the Deathologist from Home Depot. Oh look, this ghost is holding a boo. Anyway, Marie and Dean are basically serving alcohol, if you're not familiar with those animatronics. So I do want to use them in my display again this year. So I'm going to incorporate in the kitchen area the witches who are, you know, getting maybe perhaps poisoned or drunk off the animatronics alcohol that they're providing, and they are up to nefarious purposes that maid and he's not really a butler, he's a bartender. Anyway, look at this too. So we have a sort of like a poison apple being held by a skeleton hand. I was really contemplating that as well. I love that. I'm not sure it really fits perfectly in my theme this year though, so I had to let it go. All right, here are some more of those skeletons. And look, again, 10% off. You pay about $6 for them. That's not terrible. But now that I'm thinking about it, it's not really that great of a deal either. I think 10% in general isn't going to give you that great of a deal. Wish it were 20. When I first walked in, I saw these things and I thought they had summer stuff out because they've got like a dolphin with a witch's hat and what was that other thing? I don't know. It did not look at all like Halloween, but I guess if you throw the witch's hat on it and a cape, there you go. You can turn any of your summer merchandise directly into fall. Got a couple of signs for the yard as well. And then these bloody clings. You don't want to stick those on anything that you're worried about staining on because they're red, dyed, and that will stain. All right, got some... I love these garden flags. So these are a little cutesy. I was surprised that they have the tombstones, and those are cheap. Those are good prices as well. But they have some more garden flags we'll see here in a moment. Not really sure what this is, but you can build some sort of little house. It wasn't very expensive, but I think you're supposed to draw on it, make a little playhouse or something. It's kind of a neat idea. And then we have all these little blankets with plushes. I mean, they're going all in. There's so many different designs, and I'm not really sure. I guess it's just fun for a kid, I guess. Throw a little throw blanket with a stuffed animal. They have so many designs, and I'm going to keep talking about them until we get to the end of this row. At some point, there we go. All right, we also have the dish towels. So they have a number of different designs here. If you've got any idea of a crafting project to use a dish towel, I'd like to think of some interesting thing to do with it, aside from making the pillows, which I've done before. They do have a lot of different selections, a lot of designs to choose from, and then of course tablecloths as well. Not quite as interesting as the dishcloths, I think. They've got some scent warmers, a bunch of different scents and candles. Not really a bad price on these. It looks like they're about $9, but you got lots of different designs to pick from, so whatever sort of decor you're going for, you can find something. Here are some more of these creepier looking garden flags. And then one other look at the candles. I was dodging the salespeople that were giving me stink eye for filming inside their store, but I think we got most of the merchandise, so at least we're not going to have to come back and film more later. I really like the top of this candle with that creepy haunted house. Very nice. Before we go, I did want to say a special thank you to all the patrons who help support the channel. If you're interested in joining our Fright Club, be sure to check out a link to my Patreon page in the description below. That's going to do it for today. Please, if you wouldn't mind, I would very much appreciate it if you gave this video a like and a comment. Drive up those YouTube algorithms, help me share the channel to other people. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. You'll enjoy more Halloween content all year round. DIYs, store walkthroughs, product reviews, and more. Till next time, take care everyone, and happy haunting.